Hey, Trev, it's Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. Quite a week for you. Congratulations on graduating early. How do you manage the emotions of graduating and staying focused on such an enormous game Saturday?
Yeah, I don't think it's not too tough really. I think just this semester has been my lightest semester because I knocked out most of my credits. So I only had 3 classes, and so it hasn't been a huge, I guess, stress on me. But it's definitely a big relief to get to this point. I've been doing school every year for I don't know 15, 16 years. So to finally get to the point where I'm graduating, kind of like the end of the road, is a good feeling. So I think it's going to be even more of a weight lifted off my shoulders. Not feeling like I got to turn an assignment in or something's in the back of my head that I'm trying to remember. So that's going to be a good feeling for sure, and hopefully just allow me to focus and lock in even more. But I graduate Thursday, and really excited about that.
Trevor, so you're not planning on grad school, huh?
Not right now. we'll see. And been doing school for a long time. Obviously, everybody in here has probably done that too, so I'm not complaining. But it's been a long journey, so I'm happy to be done for now.
Trevor, about the journey, I mean, is this the reason, this point in the season, is this the reason that you fought so hard in the summer and the spring to get to this place?
Yeah, I mean, these are obviously this is the most important part of the season. You don't get here if you don't take it 1 week at a time and make every game the biggest game. But it feels good to be at the point where, okay, this is where we knew we would be if we just stayed focused, and we did. We weren't perfect, obviously. You don't have to be perfect, but just keep putting the work in, be consistent. We've done that, and just to be here in prime time. Obviously, these next 3 games, hopefully, are huge, and that's where that's been our goal the whole time. And to be here, it's been a lot of fun, and kind of obviously you look back at the journey, and Coach Swinney does a good job of putting things into perspective. He's kind of talked about what it's taken to get here, and it's been a lot more so than other years. So it's been a lot of sacrifices, a lot of adjustments, and just kind of going with the flow. But I think we've all done a good job of handling it the best we can. So just grateful to be here.
Trevor, when you were on the sideline up at Notre Dame, did you get a chance at all to kind of zone in on Ian Book, and what were your impressions of him if you did?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was locked in the game, paying attention more so when we were on offense, trying to talk to our guys and kind of help DJ as much as I could. But I did watch them. Obviously, Ian played really well, and in big games like that, quarterback has to play well, and he did. Gave him a chance to win, so he played great. And I guess that's really all. There's not certain things I necessarily noticed, but he just extended plays really well, made some big throws, and he's just a competitor, you can tell. So got a lot of respect for him.
Trevor, this is Matt. You mentioned playing in prime time.
Back in the summer, you were part of a We Want to Play crusade, and it was successful. Do you think there should be another crusade for athletes to get together and finally make some money off all these holiday jersey sales? Yours are flying off the shelf.
Yeah, that is above my pay grade. I don't know, honestly. I think there's definitely going to be some things in the future. Just you can kind of see the way things are trending. I think some things will change, but I think it's one of those situations where college football is special how it is, and with change, obviously it can affect that. So there's a little bit of danger, I think, in that, but also I see, as being a player and experiencing it, I see what a lot of guys are talking about as far as compensation, all that. It's a tough thing. I mean, you kind of it's a tough thing to balance. So I'm glad I'm not necessarily making that decision, but I can definitely see both sides.
Thank you.
Hey, Trevor, Lawton Swan. I kind of asked Mike Jones this, and I know you guys didn't play in that game, but in high school, along the way, have you ever been involved in a rematch, at any point in your career in the same season? And what's the preparation been like? And also, in fairness, those are probably Ray Thornton jerseys that are being sold.
Oh, that's my guy. He's my locker buddy, Ray. No, I don't think I've ever played the same team twice. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know, but not off the top of my head. I can't remember. So that's special. And obviously, usually I'm on the good side of games. I'm on, we win. But after losing that game, it's really cool that we get another chance to play him again. That's really rare. So we're grateful for that.
Trevor, it's Chase Goodred with NFL.com. Can you touch on a couple specific things that you're better at now as a passer than you were as a freshman?
I think just all the way around accuracy. I think just understanding makes you a better player. So I think I just understand things more, see the big picture, can manage the game better, know the situation. But I think the biggest thing is just accuracy consistently, especially from last year. I think I've taken a big step up in that, and that was something I really wanted to work on. So that's been the biggest thing, is I'm more accurate, but I also just understand the game better.
Was the speed of the game a big adjustment your freshman year?
Yeah, I think for anyone that's a big adjustment. Yeah, that was something I had to get used to. And then, but I will say, practicing against, you guys remember the defense we had my freshman year. Practicing against them from spring all the way through to the national championship, every week. Practicing against them that's the best of the best. So I got to go against those guys, and it really helped me get ready. So when I went out there on Saturday and played, it was, it just wasn't the same, because I think we had the best defense in the country. And those guys that I think every D lineman we had pretty much is playing in the NFL right now. 2 first and second round corners, really good safeties, good backers. All the way around, we were just really, really good.
Thanks.
It's Trevor again. When you were watching film of the first meeting between Clemson and Notre Dame, was it bizarre just watching the film and seeing DJ out there instead of yourself? And was there anything that you picked up watching the film that you maybe didn't see from the sideline?
Yeah, you can't see everything on the sideline, obviously, and the game's so fast, you miss a few things. But after looking at it and just seeing from his perspective, because it's different on the sideline, it's just not as good. So seeing what he's seeing and watching it and kind of understanding the game more has helped me get ready for this game too. But I think it's interesting. He had, obviously he played that whole game. So being able to talk to him and some things that he saw is flipped from how it usually is. So, but it's good perspective for me. And then obviously I watch it on my own and get to, see things how I see them too. So it's been good to see both sides.
Hey, Trevor, it's Josh from the Post and Courier. Earlier, Dabo was praising your ability to kind of be thick-skinned and not worry about what people online are saying. He referred to them as thumb gangsters. Where does that come from for you to be able to have that thick skin? And has he ever had that thumb gangster speech with you?
I don't know if he's used that term. He probably has. I can't even remember. But just we've talked about that a lot. Coach Sweeney, obviously, I was just telling this to someone, but he deals with the spotlight a lot more than a lot of people do, and he's under that microscope. So everything he says, people are blowing up and talking about. So just looking at him and how he lives his life, he doesn't let it affect him what people are saying. He keeps his life simple. That's something I've learned from him, and I've tried to do in my own life. But yeah, I just really try to ignore it. I've heard just about everything you can imagine, good and bad. So both just as dangerous. So I, just try to ignore it. Obviously, there's some stuff you see, but the biggest thing is I know who I am, and just sticking to who I am, regardless of what some random person online says. It doesn't really matter. So just keeping that perspective. It can be hard though, for sure.
Hey, Trevor, David Hale with ESPN. Sort of piggybacking on that a little bit. I know you talked about this before when you were kind of pushing the We Want to Play movement in August. The idea of when something comes up that you want to speak out about, you want to do it, but you're trying to do it from a personal standpoint as opposed to speaking big picture. For example, the question that was asked earlier about sort of player compensation and stuff like that. I'm sure people ask you or want you to give a forceful opinion on certain things. How have you balanced sort of what you're comfortable talking about, what you're comfortable putting yourself in the spotlight for, versus when you think maybe, I can say something I know it's going to take it out of context, not just by the average person, but I mean, you've got, a lucrative future to look forward to as well.
I think it's just knowing what, when I hear something, what's important to me. And there's a lot of things going on that some of it is important to me, things going on in our world, but some stuff is just, regardless of what I say, it's just not something that I'm going to change by saying something. So I'm just careful about what I say, how I say it. And it's hard in media. You get asked a question. Sometimes it's a tough question. You have to kind of think of how to answer this truthfully with how you feel, but also looking big picture at how it's going to be taken. So that's something I always try to think about. And it's, I don't necessarily always do a great job, but I try to say things where I don't look back and be like, man, I wish I would have answered that differently. So I like to give myself time to think about things. I don't want to just be asked a question and the first thing that pops in my mind, just say it. I want to actually think about it and see, what I believe about it. So that was something I try to do.
I know there's the famous Michael Jordan quote about Republicans buy sneakers too. And so that's why he didn't want to be, super outspoken on certain things. And I think that's probably the mindset that a lot of, mega famous athletes want to take. But I remember talking to you probably a couple of years ago where you said, like, I don't want to be known as just a quarterback. I want people to see me as something more than that. Why has it been so important for you to kind of establish who you are beyond just the football field?
I mean, because at the end of the day, we're all people, and football is just a game. Obviously, for some people, it becomes a job, and you can make a living from it. And obviously, I love football. I love football as much as anybody, but I still know I'm a person, and there's other things that are more important to me than football. Obviously, it's pretty high up there, but so I think that's a good thing to kind of shine that light on to other people and show people like I'm not just a robot that walks around and only thinks about football. So I think that's the biggest thing too is, like you said, trying to answer questions certain ways and show how you feel and what you believe, but also be careful because, I mean, my name's in the on social media and in the headlines and articles enough. I don't want to give anyone any more fuel to take things out of context. So I'm really careful about
that. I don't want to lead you too far down this, but you said you didn't want the We Want to Play movement to be politicized, and obviously you were requested to speak with the President of the United States during that time. Did you have concerns about how that would be taken or how that would go? Or I don't know if you talked much about that afterwards.
I really didn't have any concerns. Obviously, there was some stuff that came from it. It wasn't bad. I mean, regardless of who the president was, I mean, I guess we're in a transition period now, but regardless of who the person is in office, I have respect for them. And if I get a chance to talk to them, I'm going to talk to them. So it didn't really necessarily matter who it was. And that was my mindset. Obviously, people are going to take it differently. But I didn't think about it too much, honestly.
All right, we have time for one more question for Trevor.
Trevor, this is Matt. Is there any part of you that's looking forward to just being out in primetime again and playing in one of these huge games, particularly after the way the LSU game ended last year? I know you said that was a big, I know a hard loss for you. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, these are the games you get excited for. Obviously, excited for every game, but these are the big ones that are really fun to be a part of when you play in a great team. And then it's different this year. Like I said, we've already played them once and lost that game. So we got a little bit more, I guess, at stake and more fuel for this game, even more so than normal. So we're super excited. I know I am. It's a big challenge and just excited to get to play in a game like this. There's not many teams this point in the year that get this opportunity. So just being grateful for it, but also trying to maximize it and make the most of it.
All right.